The slow implementation of reforms is proving frustrating for business. South Africa has been dealing with the crippling electricity crisis, negatively impacting business operations. Rail and port operation inefficiencies have also been a headache. Minister Kubayi says while business recognizes the efforts to address the challenges, it's calling for faster implementation.
They do acknowledge what we have done. They're just requesting that we improve the speed. They think that what we do in intervention and response is a bit slower. So that's the issue. The issue of energy crisis remains an issue for us to respond to, and that's why the Minister of Electricity, Dr. Ramokgopa, has been engaging and giving feedback on what we are doing, how we are dealing with that. Then there's been an issue around logistics, around Transnet, as a feedback that we needed to deal with, which has been raised and it's been responded to, because that's why Transnet has issued, for example, PPPs and the regulatory policies that have been done to improve in the area. And that's why I gave feedback on the commitment of ERRP, what we've been able to do, the embedded generation that has been achieved, the policy in terms of rail infrastructure that has been achieved, and all those other things, critical skills that we committed to.
Business Leadership South Africa says government needs to speedily implement reforms holding back investments to enable the country to attract more investments.
It's implementation, and I think that is the growing frustration, in as far as business is concerned and in as far as the international community is concerned. We have committed to reforms, for quite a while. We are long on planning, but we are very short on execution. So we keep on talking about the interventions that we're going to implement, but the time it takes for us to actually implement these things is way too long. And remember, capital is like water. It will always follow the path of least resistance. So if South Africa is not getting its house in order in terms of to position itself for investment, then investment goes elsewhere. We are seeing a trend now where there is a shift from South Africa to East Africa, because the African continent is rolling out the red carpet for investment.
PNG, with investments in the manufacturing sector in South Africa, says it's been working with government on ways to achieve sustainable power supply at its plants.
The crisis itself has not changed our intent in any way to continue to invest. What it has led us to do is collaborate further with government so that we can come up with ways to work through this sustainably into the future, and particularly that investment I refer to in sustainable sources of energy, solar being one.
Economist Mielani Mkabela says the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement holds great promise for South Africa.
The most selling point for South Africa will be agriculture for Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. It will be manufacturing for Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, and at the same time it will be mining for the global market supplies, or the global resource outlook up until 2060, because we have enough resources. So those three sectors, agriculture, manufacturing and mining, are supposed to be the three key sectors that South Africa need to focus on.
South Africa is now hoping to attract 2 trillion rand worth of investments over the next 5 years to try and solve the many socio-economic challenges it faces. Gloria Sefako Mosi, SABC News, Johannesburg.